Hello, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about how I decided my career path to further my nursing career after receiving my bachelor's in science in nursing. To help you decide, you may want to figure out what it is that you want to specialize in or what it is that you're good at. As you know, it's been mentioned before that nursing has so many different avenues that you can follow. You don't have to be stagnant into one area. There's so many different things that you can explore. We have the community health nurse, we have a nurse educator, research nurse, informatics, nurse administrator, a nurse consultant, management, and then we also have the advanced nurse practitioner, which that has a whole number of fields in its own. I personally didn't want to go any of those routes. I didn't want to be an educator. I didn't want to teach. Although I love to precept, I didn't want to be an educator. I'm not good with computers, so I didn't want to do anything with informatics. I didn't want to manage anyone. So I had to figure out what it is that I like to do and how can I further my career by doing it. So I personally chose forensic nursing. Now, what is forensic nursing? I will get into detail about that later on in the video because there's not a lot of information about it. But so I decided to continue my nursing career and pursue my master's degree in science in forensic nursing. So I applied for Fitchburg State University, which is an online program. It's solely online except for the clinical portion. So I had to pay my application fee, which was $50. And then I had to, do a letter of intent, letting them know, hey, I plan on attending your college. This is what I like about your college. This is what I research, and this is what I want to do. And then I also had to do a personal statement, basically telling them about me, about how I became into nursing and what I want to do in the future with their program, with the information that I've learned from their program. Now that was a little difficult because I knew what I wanted to say, but I wanted to put it down on paper good. I didn't want the admission board to just look at it and say, huh, and put it aside. So I wanted them to actually, to catch their attention so that they would pay attention to what it is that I want to do. So I kind of did it, I wouldn't say by accident, but I was thinking about doing it, but I wasn't 100% that I wanted to do it. They emailed me after I did a little research. I started getting emails from them, and they were like, why not apply to our program? Then they were like, you don't have to have everything in at once. We have a rolling admission, so you can submit things as you get them ready. So I started out by doing the letter of intent. I did my resumes. I had to send in my transcripts. So I just did those little bit by little bit. And then I did the personal statement. I paid the $50. And eventually I had all the little green check marks checked off. And it said that I was accepted. It took about 2 to 3 weeks, and I was accepted into the program. So I stated Fitchburg State University is an online program. It takes about 39 credit hours to complete the program. They said that it averages about 3 to 6 years. I pray that it doesn't take me 6 years to complete, but that's the maximum amount of time that you do have to complete it. And it's solely online except for the clinical portion. I believe it's about 420 clinical hours, which 60 of those, interesting enough, is like a virtual clinical setting. So I guess it's done on the computer. And then after that, you actually have to go out to different facilities. Depending on what course you're taking, they give you a suggested list of different facilities where you can get a preceptor and do your clinical hours. And those facilities can range anywhere from the hospital, like if you have a SANE or a victim assault department, you can do it there. The medical examiner's office, prison. Um, Sometimes it can be on the criminal justice side, so you can go to like the state attorney's office, um, the little where they send the perpetrators to get counseling. You can sit in on those to do some type of some of your clinical hours. There's a major list of different suggestions that you can do your clinical hours, and it's kind of scary that I'm going to have to find my own preceptor. But they said once you get into it, it's really not that hard, because depending on where you decide to do your clinical hours, it's not like you're actually going to be doing work. For instance, if I was to do something in the district attorney's office, I'm not a legal type person, so I can go sit in on the trial, or in the hearing or whatnot, but I can't defend the person or prosecute the person. So that would kind of be like a sit down type observance is the word I'm looking for, instead of a hands-on type thing. So it depends on what it is that you want to do. So what is forensic nursing? I'm going to leave that here, a description. But basically, forensic nursing is where nursing and the criminal justice side is two different sides, but they merge together to help for one common cause, which is to help the victims or the family of the victims. There's a lot of different avenues when it comes to forensic nursing. Um, okay, so some of the subfields into forensic nursing, there's a lot of different ones. Like I said, you won't really find that much information until you actually do some research. But some of them includes a death investigator nurse. Like you have the medical examiner, but those are physicians who specialize in pathology. So those are actually doctors. But then you also, like I said, you have the death investigator nurse. You have a legal nurse consultant. You have correctional nurses, psychiatric nurses, forensic nurse educators, pathology nursing, inmate partner violence, domestic violence forensic nurse, pediatric forensic nurse, elder abuse forensic nurse, and then the sexual assault nurse examiner, which is also a SANE nurse. I'm more interested in either being the death investigator or the SANE nurse. I'm not 100% sure. Some of those others seem pretty interesting too, but I'll wait as I go out throughout the course to see, maybe to decide. But those two kind of stick out the most as of right now. So right now, I just started in summer. I'm taking Introduction into Forensics. I'm only taking one class, basically because it's a prereq class before you can do some of the other classes, as well as the summer term. And with the summer term, a lot of those classes aren't being offered. So I'm only taking one. As time go on, I'm gonna try to take two at a time until it's time to do your clinicals. And they recommend that when you're doing your clinicals, you probably should do just one, especially if you're a working nurse, which I am, or if you have a family or small kids, then there's not enough hours in the day. I am a working nurse. I work full time. I don't have any small kids in the home. I do have a daughter who's in college, and she has 1 year to complete her degree in sociology, and I'm quite sure she's going to go into get her master's. So I have a year head start on her because she's kind of fast, so I need to kind of start rolling the ball now. But that would be some goals, to have mother and daughter graduate with their masters together. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. As I stated before, there's not a lot of videos or information about being a forensic nurse or someone who who's living the life as a forensic nursing student. So I'm gonna try to record some things as I go on. Maybe someone out there is interested, and a lot of people never heard of it. Like, I didn't even know that was a field that I can get a master's degree in, even though I've always been interested in forensics. I love the ID channel. I love like Forensic Files, um, Law and Order, SVU. I love all of those shows. So this kind of like is like a dream come true for me to be able to still do my passion in nursing, and then also to tie in the forensic side with it. So right now, like I said, I'm in my first class. I just completed week 2, so I'm starting week 3. So far, I've done my first discussion board. I did a literature review paper. It's a short one where I only had to do like find 3 references. We do have a big paper at the end of the semester. I've also taken my first quiz, which I got a 95. So I hope to continue to do well in this class. But if you're interested in how it goes, the life of a forensic nurse, then post some topics or some questions down there if you want me to get into detail about a specific subfield in forensic nursing. I'm quite sure I have that information in my book, or I can find that information, or maybe I will go through that information as the course goes on, and I'll be happy to share that with you guys. But don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, hit that notification bell, and wish me luck.